Hi, I'm Deeba. I'm the girl with the hijab. And I'm here to talk to you about my journey from this to this, and how I've attained peace with myself through it. Now, peace. A word I'm confident some of you have never associated with Islam. Personally, I don't blame you. I never thought of Islam as the religion of peace up until last year, even though it literally translates to peace. You see, over the past 2 decades, tragic events have been happening throughout the globe, perpetrated by those who claim to be Muslim. Growing up, the only examples of Muslims I would see on TV were these horrific groups of people, and that made me question my faith. I remember wondering, if my religion is so good, then why are people dying because of it? I also got Islam confused with my culture. You see, my parents were more strict than my peers' parents, and that meant a lot of things were forbidden to me, such as eating bacon or pepperoni pizza, and I couldn't hang out with the opposite gender or go to social gatherings where they were, and that means my first school dance was my junior prom. I felt immensely insecure about myself, especially during middle school when everyone is trying to fit in, and I found that my religion gave me an obstacle from fitting in, and that made me skip acts of worship. I didn't see the point in performing prayers or fasting or reading the Quran if I didn't feel right about the religion itself. I strongly considered converting, and I brought this up to my mom one night when we were driving back from Kroger. She called me dramatic, and I called her dramatic, and we mutually agreed that I would wait until I was no longer under her roof for me to convert. I'm glad I waited. The summer before my freshman year, I visited Iran, and it was completely different from what I thought I knew. The Iranians were exceedingly kind and hospitable. For example, on celebrational days like birthdays of important figures, they'll set up tables along the street filled with delicacies and tea, because if y'all remember from Arya's speech, Persians love their tea. There's also the holy shrine in Mashhad, which completely and utterly changed my mindset about Islam. I remember a specific moment during my visit. I was sitting in the shrine, and it was right after prayer, so people usually take about a minute or two before they get up. And I remember looking around, and it was so overwhelmingly calm. And I felt this overwhelming sense of peace and belonging, something I never imagined I would feel with Islam. So I decided to look into my religion. I thought, if Iran is so different from what I thought it was, then maybe Islam is too. I learned about the 5 pillars, such as charity and faith, about the Prophet, and since I'm Shia, I also learned about the 12 Imams. These people were known for their charity, kindness, and piety, and they're often remembered as the embodiments of Islam. And that led me to the conclusion that Islam is good, and not this evil monster that it's often portrayed to be. So I started trying. I increased my fasting, my reading of the Quran, going to the mosque, and I also tried to perform my prayers on time. Another milestone for me was this. After a year or 2 of debating, I decided to begin permanently wearing the hijab. It was challenging, and it still is. My family is super against me wearing it, mainly because of all the news stories you see of hijabis being attacked, or worse, just because of what they believe in. I'm also the only young one out of my entire family that observes hijab, so naturally it ensued a lot of gossip from my relatives. But on the plus side, I also gained a lot of support, whether it's a random person in the hallway, a teacher, my family, or my friends, who continue to support me even on days when I feel like taking it off. The hijab also seems to present people with opportunities to ask me questions, which I gladly welcome, even though some are a bit odd and perhaps a bit discriminatory. For example, at work, a regular customer came up to me. He asked me where I'm from, proceeded to tell me a few stereotypes about Muslims, and promptly said, "Welcome to America," and walked off, leaving me absolutely speechless, unable to form my words into a sentence that said, "I was actually born in Fort Worth." Unlike what this customer thought, the hijab isn't meant to be a tool to oppress women. In fact, its true intention, or at least one of them, is to mark its wearer as being Muslim, hence why hijabis are often referred to as the flag bearers of Islam. And that makes me watch what I say or do because I'm actively representing my religion when I wear it. I try my best to be kind in order to portray my religion in a positive light in a society that refuses to do so, and in order to show what the hijab has made me feel ever since I've started wearing it and what it's truly meant to represent. Peace. Thank you.